Right now, taking pride in this forecast. Maybe this weekend marks 30 years since Madison's first gay pride parade, and the weather looks like it'll cooperate for many of those festivities. Chris is tracking when our next rain chance will pop up. Plus, drive sober or get pulled over. What's behind the latest push to curb drunk driving, and while you'll be seeing more officers on the road this weekend through Labor Day.
That bullet doesn't know where it's flying, and it doesn't care.
And after shots fired on the Beltline Friday, stalling cars on Madison's main thoroughfare, city leaders are now talking about possible ways to curb local gun violence.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, and thanks for starting your day with us here on News 3 Now. It's Saturday, August 17th. I'm Keely Arthur, in with meteorologist Chris Reese. We are happy to see one another. We both kind of got back from some little trips.
I know, we went opposite directions.
We did.
But
We
it's
needed
been
a
a
break
couple
from each
weekends.
other.
Yes,
No,
a break. Couldn't do it anymore. No, but you went to California, of course.
Beautiful beaches, and you went to Charleston.
Yes, South Carolina. Beautiful beaches. Just the water was warm instead of cold, but it was still nice.
So, the water was actually pretty cold in Southern California, believe it or not.
I was like, it typically is. Just
It reminded me more of like the lakes in Wisconsin, which you wouldn't expect,
well, hey, waters are warming up here just because it's been so warm
It has, yeah.
here as of late. But things are going to stay that way, at least in the meantime. We've had temperatures that have been above average for a while, and that's been the trend that seems to continue, at least as we go through our forecast. But as for today, we're starting out with temperatures into the 60s, 64 right now, and 67 as you work your way down towards Kenosha. Milwaukee is the warm spot at 70 degrees right now, but everyone has at least made it into the 60s. A lot of us were in the 50s earlier on this morning. We're going to warm up towards 83 degrees for your high today. We'll also watch some areas of cloud cover come into the picture, but not everyone will get in on any rain chances, at least this afternoon. Speaking of, yes, we're watching for some rain chances this afternoon. They'll be spotty in nature and closer towards the state line, but I do think everyone gets in on a rain chance during the overnight hours. In fact, here's Future Track. You'll see that rain starting to develop just towards the west, and then eventually that moves in here. It'll get out in time for Sunday afternoon, but as we get towards main weather, what we're going to do is time out this overnight rain chance and figure out how we can plan around it for Sunday.
We wanted to kind of sneak in overnight, and then we'll wake up, we'll have a beautiful Sunday.
You know, as you said earlier, we can tuck in the overnight, rain chances.
When everyone is tucked in, the weather, we can tuck it in.
We'll see what happens. I'll keep everyone, well, Gary Canalti will keep everyone up to date, because he's going to be doing weather from the Agora Art Fair.
Oh. Yep. We're so spoiled today.
I know.
Thanks, Chris.
My pleasure.
Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center overnight, an armed robbery in Portage led to a car chase and an eventual crash in Madison. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office says they received a report around 6 o'clock Friday that the Summit Credit Union was being robbed at gunpoint. They say the robber is 40-year-old Jeffrey Parker of Madison. He ordered employees to lay on the floor and put physical restraints on them. He got away with an unknown amount of money, and that's when the chase began, at times topping speeds of 100 miles an hour. The robber eventually crashed into a FedEx truck at the intersection of East Wash and Stoughton Road over on Highway 51. Parker is now in the Columbia County Jail. Several streets are closed this morning for the Madison Mini Marathon. Roads will only be closed when runners are present, and police will be at intersections to close streets as necessary. The only two streets closed right now before the race are at North Park and Langdon Streets, which is where the start and finish lines are located. All roads will reopen by 11 a.m. Madison police are still searching for the suspects involved in a rush hour shooting on the Beltline Friday morning. Police say a gun battle happened just before Rimrock Road, where several rounds of gunfire were exchanged. They believe this is the result of an ongoing dispute between the two parties. Police were able to locate both cars in the Madison area, but the suspects are still on the loose. You are asked to call Madison area Crime Stoppers if you have any information about the shooting. City leaders are working to find a solution to the frequent shootings happening across Madison. Alder Tag Evers says he supports making changes to gun laws, while Alder Paul Skidmore says the term gun control is only a fragment of the solution, and new legislation won't put an end to the crime. He says the fix is to support the Madison Police Department, which he says begins at the mayor's office.
The city council and the mayor is behind public safety. We're behind the police department to stop this.
Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway did not respond to a request for interview. City leaders agree a solution needs to be found before this problem turns deadly. In Rock County, deputies had to evacuate people in the area after a man brought explosive devices there. Now, according to officials, the man found it while he was cleaning his mother's garage in Janesville. Not sure what to do with it, the man loaded it into the front seat of his car and then drove it to them. Once deputies realized what was in the car, they evacuated the area, afraid it might explode. The Rockford Bomb Squad will now properly dispose of the device. New this morning, all eyes are on the economy this weekend after Wall Street closed its wild week with a rally. The Dow up more than 300 points. Now 2/3 of the country's CFOs, though, surveyed by Duke University, expect a recession by the end of next year. Despite that, President Trump continues to insist all is well with the economy, but the president's trade war with China and sagging economies in Europe and South America have stoked fears of a recession. A major warning sign for the president heading into the 2020 election.
You have no choice but to vote for me because your 401ks, down the tubes, everything's going to be down the tubes.
According to the president, both the media and the Federal Reserve are working against him and holding back the economy. More local news now. The American Red Cross is asking for your help this weekend as it deals with the blood and platelet shortage. This comes as many of their regular donors are either on summer vacation or preparing for the school year to start. In Madison, you can give blood every day from now through September 14th. There are a number of surrounding communities who could also use donations as well. You can visit the Red Cross's website to learn more about how to donate in our area. Check your lottery ticket. If you purchased one in Johnson Creek, you could be $100,000 richer. We're told the player purchased an all-or-nothing ticket from the Linmar BP near the Outlet Mall. The ticket matched all 11 numbers in the game, listed there on your screen. Now, the odds of winning the all-or-nothing top prize are less than 1 in 350,000. Also, check your beer before you drink it this weekend. A Milwaukee-based brewery is recalling one of its brews because there's a risk it could explode. Lakefront Brewery is asking people with My Turn junk beer to refrigerate it or carefully dispose of the bottles. According to a Facebook post, the wild yeast from the cherries used to brew the beer may continue to ferment, building up pressure in the bottle. The beer itself is completely safe to drink. For anyone who tosses the beer, the brewery is offering a refund. We have that information on our website, channel3000.com. Law enforcement across the state will be ramping up their efforts to prevent drunk driving for the rest of the month. Hundreds more patrol cars will be out for the roads much longer through Labor Day, and you can help them by getting a designated driver for yourself or reporting dangerous drivers. If you need a way to get home after having too much to drink, you can download the DOT's Drive Sober app to find a ride or take advantage of the Tavern League's Safe Ride program. If your weekend drive takes you into Sun Prairie, you can enjoy a hot piece of sweet corn. The town's Sweet Corn Festival continues today and tomorrow. People can purchase a tote of corn for $8. About 70 tons of corn has been shipped into Sun Prairie for the event, where it will be moved down a conveyor belt and the volunteers will fill the totes. For Carol Barreau, who's attended the Corn Fest for 45 years, she can't imagine a better place to get her corn.
Each community has a different celebration of what's going on in their town, and we happen to have the Corn Fest. It's wonderful corn. I mean, I've been eating it for 45 years, and I've never gotten tired of it.
People can add butter to their corn as well as salt, which will be hanging from salt containers in a salt tree, which you just saw there. Uncooked corn will also be available to buy, and you can give the corn over to farmers if it is unused. There's a back-to-school outreach program happening today in Reedsburg at the Touched Twice Clinic. Your student can get a backpack filled with school supplies that match their grade level. Guests will also receive a box of food from Second Harvest, a haircut, a hot meal, and can pick out secondhand clothing. It's a first-come, first-serve event starting at 10 a.m. at the Reedsburg Area Community Arena. The Brewers will be looking for redemption tonight after a tough 2-1 loss to the Nationals last night. Let's start with the highlights. The Brew Crew came out swinging strong with Orlando Arcia hitting homer number 13 to put the team up 1-0. The Nationals answered in the bottom of the inning, and fast forward to the 8th, a fly to Christian Yelich turns into a go-ahead run. The Brewers lose 2-1. Jordan Lyles is pitching tonight for Game 2 of the series. That starts at 6:05, and the team really needs this win. They're now 2 games out of first in the NL Central and 1 game back in the wild card. It is 8:10, and if you missed Art Fair on the Square this year, there's another chance to catch a great local fair happening in Fitchburg. And right now, you're taking a live look outside this morning. We'll check in with Gary Canulty, and your full forecast still ahead.
I'm meteorologist Gary Canulty, live on location. Beautiful morning. They're setting the tents up behind me. The fair will open at 10 a.m., but it looks like the weather should be nice pretty much for the entire fair. The one thing we'll have to watch out for is the possibility for a shower or thunderstorm late in the day, but temperatures for the most part are going to be pretty comfortable. They'll start out in the 70s and will end up in the lower 80s by late this afternoon. Again, with just a chance for a shower or thunderstorm late in the day. Now, as we take a look at Doppler track right now, there are some showers and thunderstorms to the south across parts of northern Illinois. This might initially keep the moisture away from us to keep the rain chances down during the day. I think our better chances of rain are going to come later on tonight. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center now has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms south and west of Madison and a marginal risk to the north and west or north and east. I think the better chances for severe weather might be later on tonight, but at this point, it looks like the greater threat is going to stay to our south and to our west. Temperatures right now are pretty comfortable. They're in the mid-60s here. It's a little warmer to the south. That's where temperatures are in the lower 70s, and while dew point temperatures have dropped a little bit here in the wake of yesterday's showers that occurred during the mid-afternoon hours and then moved off to the east, notice to the south those dew point temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, so there's moisture not too far away to fuel another round of thunderstorms later on tonight. As we take a look at the live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, things pretty quiet out here. We have hazy sunshine. The cirrus clouds are actually the blow-off tops of those storms down to our south. Temperature right now is 64 degrees, but the air is calm. The humidity at 90%. A little patchy fog out there, but that should lift pretty quickly. Otherwise, we take a look at weather track across the Midwest. You can see that cluster of showers and thunderstorms to the south across Missouri and parts of Illinois, but that will stay to the south. The next batch of storms will develop farther out to the west and will affect us later on tonight, although we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm chance late in the day. Now, as we take a look at the current weather map, you'll see that there is a cold front just to our east and a stationary front to our south. That will work back northward as a warm front and give us a chance for thunderstorms later on tonight. So this morning, look for skies to be partly sunny. Temperatures will climb into the upper 70s by late morning. This afternoon, look for a high temperature of 83. Just a chance of a shower or thunderstorm late in the day. As we look at future track, you see things stay pretty quiet for much of the day today into tonight. Now, later on tonight, that's when the better chances for showers and thunderstorms will roll on through, but they should head on out during the day tomorrow, and high temperatures will top out in the middle 80s. Rainfall amounts, for the most part, will be around a half inch, but there could be some heavier amounts in excess of an inch in heavier thunderstorms. 7 to 10 day forecast, though, calls for warm weather for the first part of next week, and then a little bit of a cool down toward the end of the week with high temperatures dropping into the upper 70s. So again, we're at the Agora Art Festival in Fitchburg. It's on Sherrill Parkway, just to the east of Fish Hatchery Road. The fair runs from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. this afternoon. It's the 13th Agora Art Fair. There are folks from the Lions that are shuttling folks around here, but a lot of art to see. So come on out between 10 and 5 on Sherrill Parkway in Fitchburg. Keely, back to you.
Thanks, Gary. It looks like one of those perfect days to take a stroll there. Well, the award show season is right around the corner, and this morning we're talking about the Emmys, VMAs, and a special honor for an Oscar-winning actress. Plus, we're hopping behind the wheel, and before you think you don't care about a car show happening all the way in California, auto experts say the trends there will soon pop up right here. That's just ahead on News 3 Now this morning.
I love
Welcome back. Let's take a look at what is trending this morning. MTV has announced that rapper Missy Elliott is one of the recipients of this year's Video Vanguard Awards. The honor has been a staple at the show for 35 years and was renamed in honor of Michael Jackson back in 1991. She's perhaps best known for songs like Work It, Get Your Freak On, and Lose Control. Elliott will perform a medley of her hits. It's her first set at the show since 2006, which you can watch live August 26th. Actress Octavia Spencer will receive the Inspiration Award from the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network later this year. The Oscar-winning Spencer is being honored for devoting her career to diverse storytelling and being a steadfast ally for the LGBTQ community. The gala will take place in Beverly Hills in October. Powerhouse director Ava DuVernay says her date for this year's Emmy Awards will be the real-life Central Park 5. Her Netflix series When They See Us received 16 Emmy nominations, including one for Outstanding Miniseries. Netflix says 23 million accounts tuned in to the 4-part docudrama worldwide. The director gained notoriety after becoming the first Black female director to have her film Selma nominated for an Academy Award. And the characters from Jim Henson's 1982 film The Dark Crystal are coming back to life. Taron Egerton, Nathaniel Emmanuel, and Anna Taylor-Joy lead the cast in Netflix prequel series The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. You might remember the dark fantasy adventure film for its groundbreaking use of animatronics as well as puppets. The new show premieres August 30th. The annual Car Week is happening over in Monterey, California this weekend, and it promises to show off some of the best and most luxurious cars in the world. Car makers say this year they're seeing more women than ever before get behind the wheel, and Betty Yu takes us for a ride.
It's fierce, it's fast, and it's meant to be as comfortable for, yes, everyday driving as it is for showing off Italian muscle. The Lamborghini Urus is a super SUV and is now the company's best-selling car, accounting for half of all Lamborghinis sold.
Urus open up really new doors to the female target, so that's what we were expecting, by the way. I believe that Urus is what I call a generous Lamborghini, because you can share the experience with your friends, with your family.
The Urus, which starts at $200,000, is the brand's most popular car for women and is promising record growth for Lamborghini. I got to experience the ride myself on the streets of Carmel. It's meant to be more accessible and functional, but the twin turbocharged V8 with 641 horsepower still roars to life. I'm not the only woman attracted to supercars. Luxury car makers say they're seeing more women than ever become owners.
I drive fast cars.
Lee Bailey is at Monterey Car Week to pick up her Rolls-Royce Cullinan, the brand's first all-terrain SUV, similar to this one. Lee is retired, but she and her husband were owners of dozens of McDonald's franchises.
I think it's a matter of women are becoming more assertive, more self-confident. They're stepping up and finding out all the fun that the men have been having all these years with their cars.
Rolls-Royce says that 20% of their customers here in the U.S. are women. That's double the amount for the company globally. On the racetrack, Ferrari says it's seeing more female drivers. The North America Ferrari Challenge hosts 50 clients at each race. 5 years ago, there were no female participants. Today, there are about 4 at each race that compete with the men.
I think that women want to celebrate themselves, and they want to experience a new thing. They like the emotions that they can get out of a car.
Ultra-luxury car companies are taking notice. They're fine-tuning more of their design options to a feminine sensibility. For example, Lee's other Rolls-Royce was customized to match her watch colors. She had 44,000 colors to choose from.
I see it more as an extension of yourself, as an accessory.
It's something Lamborghini's chief marketing officer, Katia Bassi, understands very well. She's the company's first female executive, and she also created its first female advisory board.
I can see that the automotive business is very traditional. And what I hope is that they open their eyes and that they can see that they can incorporate the different experiences.
At Monterey Car Week, Betty Yu, KPIX 5.
Well, stick with us. There's much more ahead on News 3 Now. Next, we're running through the morning's top stories. Plus, you can expect to see more officers out on area roads now through Labor Day. We'll tell you why just ahead. Right now, why should Jack get all the credit? The secret is out. Jack Daniels didn't develop his namesake whiskey all by himself. Ahead, some hidden history, the story of the slave who helped him craft it, who's finally getting the recognition he deserves.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It's August 17th. I'm Keely Arthur. We're going to check on your first alert forecast with Chris in just a second. But first, here are 3 things to know as you start your day. An armed robbery in Portage overnight led to a car chase and eventual crash in Madison. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office says they received a report around 6 o'clock Friday that the Summit Credit Union was being robbed at gunpoint. They say the robber, 40-year-old Jeffrey Parker of Madison, ordered employees to lay on the floor and put physical restraints on them. He got away with an unknown amount of money, and that's when the chase began. The robber eventually crashed into a FedEx truck at the intersection of East Wash and Stoughton Road. Parker is now in the Columbia County Jail. And there's a back-to-school outreach program happening today in Reedsburg. At the Touch Twice Clinic, your student can get a backpack filled with school supplies that match their grade level. Guests will also receive a box of food from Second Harvest, a haircut, hot meal, and can pick out secondhand clothing. It's a first-come, first-served event. It begins at 10 a.m. at the Reedsburg Area Community Arena. And hundreds more patrol cars will be out on the road for longer hours this weekend through Labor Day for the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. Now, you can help them by getting a designated driver for yourself or reporting dangerous drivers. If you need a way to get home after having too much to drink, you can download the DOT's Drive Sober app to find a ride or take advantage of the Tavern League's Safe Ride program. And now here's meteorologist Chris Reese with your Saturday forecast. How's it looking out there, Chris?
Things are looking great so far this morning. It's very comfortable. We've had some sunshine and some filtered cloud cover as well. The temperature in Madison, 64. Winds are calm too. But the humidity, folks, is at 90%. Yes, it is going to be another humid Saturday, but a mainly dry Saturday. Temperatures remain in the 60s for just about all of us. Milwaukee coming in at 70 degrees. The lakeshore has been the warm spot pretty much all morning long. Here's what happens as we go through the next 12 hours. Those temperatures begin to warm up. We'll be at 78 by about 12 o'clock, topping out at 83 later on this afternoon. There are no showers and thunderstorms out there at the moment, but I do want to say, especially towards the state line, we may have to watch for a pop-up shower or two as we get you into the afternoon and evening. The bigger chance for some showers and thunderstorms comes our direction later on this afternoon and evening. We're going to notice, or shall I say later on tonight, we'll notice the showers and thunderstorms developing throughout parts of Minnesota and Iowa. This is 1:30 in the morning. We'll likely see that knocking on the door of Wisconsin. Gary Canalti is going to time this all out for us again as we get towards Maine weather. But if you're planning this afternoon, keep that sunshine around and know that temperatures will still feel like summer. Keely?
Sunshine is always around when you're here, Chris. Thanks you so much. Well, in September, a new whiskey distillery will open its doors to the public down in Tennessee. Now, the whiskey is called Uncle Nearest. It honors the first known African-American master distiller in U.S. history. Nearest Green was the slave who taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey. And now that the secret is out, Green is getting a shot at cementing his own legacy. CBS Saturday Morning anchor Michelle Miller has the story.
This is about Tennessee history.
Best-selling author Fawn Weaver is an unlikely force in Tennessee whiskey country.
Just 2 weeks ago, these were all horse stalls.
In less than 3 years, she's launched Uncle Nearest and raised about $20 million to take over the whiskey's production and turn this horse farm into a distillery.
You went from reading a story in the International Times to becoming the first female, the first of color person to run a major whiskey or spirit brand.
Yeah, overall, period.
It's her way of honoring the man known to some as the godfather of Tennessee whiskey.
If you want to appreciate jazz, you better know who Louis Armstrong was. And if you want to appreciate American whiskey, you should know who Nathan Nearest Green was.
They all died. Jeffrey Wright from HBO's Westworld feels so passionately about preserving Green's story
Nearest Green was a slave here
that he made a short film to honor him. In the late 1850s, a farm owner's slave known as Nearest Green started working with a young orphan named Jack Daniel.
We just need to know stories like this because it smashes the lies.
There is no known photograph of Nearest Green, but this is his son George sitting right next to Jack Daniel. A black man and a white man sitting side by side at a deeply divided time in the deep American South.
You have this great, iconic American brand and this thing that is representative of something that sits in our soul, that's created by the coming together of two families, an unlikely partnership.
That partnership was an open secret in Lynchburg, Tennessee.
It's kind of the same family.
William Hussey Jr. is a member of the Tennessee Squires, a Jack Daniels fan club of sorts.
You believe in this brand so much, you've literally inked it on your skin.
Yes, and this one here is the Jack Daniels, like the barrel house and different barrels. And this is my newest Uncle Nearest, which is a piece of Jack Daniels history.
This has changed the story that folks in these parts have been living with most of their lives. How are they dealing with it?
Well, I would say about 95% has understood and have accepted it. But I think there's still the 5% of old Southern boys who could care less, would like to keep everything hidden.
He's become an unlikely ambassador for Uncle Nearest, another steward of the story. As author Fawn Weaver likes to say,
every single time you take that sip, you should be telling the story of Nearest. That's how we make sure that his legacy is not only cemented, but it continues on beyond us to the next generation.
I wish my grandmother could see this. I do. I am Nearest Green's great-great-granddaughter.
Victoria Edie Butler says the idea to make a whiskey bearing her ancestor's name came first from a member of Jack Daniels' family, and then from her own.
Fawn was like, what can we do to keep Nearest Green's legacy alive? And one family member said, put his name on a bottle.
3 of Nearest Green's descendants still work at the Jack Daniels distillery.
They were solidly behind you in this discovery mode of who Uncle Nearest was. You're their competition now, aren't you?
I do not consider myself competition whatsoever. When we go out into the marketplace, we are selling Uncle Nearest, but we are talking about Jack in a way that makes you want to drink Jack Daniel as well.
An unlikely friendship, an iconic American brand, and now a legacy that can never be forgotten.
What happens when everything we know about something changes?
This is a story that unifies us. And I think we so desperately need that now. We forever will be in this thing together. And that's the story of Nathan Nearest Green, Uncle Nearest, and Jack Daniel.
Very cool. Well, more local news ahead, including some help putting together your weekend plans, from a pride-filled parade to a race that literally everyone can and will want to participate in. Your Weekend 608 is next on News 3 Now this morning. Welcome back. It's the weekend in the 608.
And here's a look at what's happening in the Madison area.
This is the 30th anniversary since the first Gay Pride Parade in Madison. But rather than just a parade, there are several things going on around town this weekend. Tonight, the Majestic Theater is hosting an evening of live hip-hop by a handful of local and regional LGBTQ artists. Among those performing at the 3rd annual Hot Summer Gays, as the event is called, is DeQuandre Smith, a student at the UW-Madison's First Wave Arts program. Then tomorrow from 1 to 6 p.m. at Warner Park is the Outreach Magic Festival. Speeches, more live music, entertainment, all kinds of great things happening over there.
Now, the Fitchburg Agora Art Fair returns today to the Agora Center building. There will be more than 100 artists and thousands of fairgoers that are all expected at the 11th annual art fair, showcasing local and regional painters, jewelers, ceramicists, photographers, and sculptors. Go for the art, the food, and the drinks. Bring the little ones too, and take them to the children's art yard for some hands-on fun.
All right, Chris, this is something I think you and I can do, anyone can do.
I'm ready. I'm stretching. Let's go.
It's a run, but it's an easy one. And whether or not you are a runner, you can go to this thing at 10 a.m. tomorrow. It's the 0.1K resistance run. It may be the shortest charity race you could ever compete in. Participants will start at the High Noon Saloon and run to the Sylvie, which if you live in that area, which I do, is like it's extremely close. Finishers will receive a medal and a 0.1K sticker to display with pride. And they even get entry into the Sylvie for a show by the country and rock cover band, the Porg Tornadoes. A portion of proceeds will benefit Underdog Pet Rescue of Wisconsin.
That's a band name and a half.
I know. I knew you would love that.
Tornadoes.
Anything with tornadoes, any weather event.
But that's about a city block, right? The 0.1?
Yeah.
That's too much. Can't do that.
Yeah, you
All
can't
right,
do
as
it.
always, you can get this month's Madison magazine for all of the best that the Madison area has to offer.
And running or not, this mild weather for August at least is pretty refreshing.
You're looking live outside this morning over the Capitol. This is also the perfect day for an art fair. That's where we'll check in with Gary Canalti for your full forecast from the Agora Art Fair next on News 3 Now.
But first, let's take a look at who is 3. Happy birthday, you kiddos.
I'm meteorologist Gary Canulti, live at the Agora Art Festival in Fitchburg. Beautiful morning for it. Temperatures are in the mid-60s to around 70 degrees. The sun is shining, and right now it looks like the best chances of rain will hold off until late this afternoon. But for the art fair itself, I think temperatures will be very comfortable. Humidity levels might be a little high, especially this afternoon, but temperatures will climb into the lower 80s. So just a chance of a shower or thunderstorm late in the day. Otherwise, we look at Doppler track, there are some showers and thunderstorms to our south. Right now, that's keeping the moisture away from us, which is good. That'll keep much of the day dry. Our better chances of rain will come later on tonight. But there are also the potential for some severe weather. Slight risk of severe thunderstorms south and west of Madison, and a marginal risk through the Madison area. But the higher risks are farther out to the west. So hopefully those storms will weaken later on tonight. Temperatures right now are in the mid-60s here. Milwaukee and Chicago already at 70. But the dew point temperatures, while pretty comfortable in the lower 60s here in southern Wisconsin, are in the mid to upper 60s, not far to our south. So the humidity levels are starting to increase, and that's what will fuel the thunderstorms later on. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, showing hazy sunshine. The cirrus clouds overhead are the blow-off tops of some of those storms down to our south. Temperature right now 64. The air is calm. Humidity at 90%, but that's just because the temperature is cool. Now, as we take a look at weather track across the Midwest, you can see a big cluster of showers and storms to our south. That will stay to our south during the day, but we'll see more storms develop farther out to the west. There's a stationary front just to our south. That divides the more humid air to the south to slightly drier air to the north. Temperatures, though, should warm up into the low 80s, and as that happens, you'll see those the humidity levels also increase. Right now, temperatures in the 70s just to our south. Those dew point temperatures are climbing into the lower to middle 60s to our south. A few places getting close to 70. So for today, look for partly sunny skies this morning. Temperatures climbing to about 78 by lunchtime. This afternoon, a high of 83. Just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm. For tonight, you can see on future track, after a dry day today, the shower and thunderstorm chances come in later on tonight into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's high temperatures will get up into the middle 80s after the showers and storms roll on through, and we get some sunshine in the afternoon. Rainfall amounts generally will be around a half inch, but we could see some heavier amounts of an inch or two and some heavier thunderstorms. 7 to 10 day forecast, temperatures in the 80s through Monday, then a break in the temperatures, highs in the upper 70s for the end of the week, and then back to the low 80s for next weekend. So again, we're at the Agora Art Festival. This is in Fitchburg. It's on Sherrill Parkway, about 2 blocks east of Fish Hatchery Road. The art festival starts at 10 a.m., runs through 5 p.m. This is the 11th one. A lot of one-of-a-kind gifts. We've got some art pieces for outdoor as well as indoor, pictures, ceramics, jewelry. There's some food here. There's also carts that are bringing people that need help coming from the parking lot to the main exhibit area. So again, it starts at 10 a.m. on Sherrill Parkway in Fitchburg, just east of Fish Hatchery Road. It's the Agora Art Festival. It's a beautiful day for it.
Gary, always nice to have you joining us in the AM hours.
You're welcome.
Well, what does your morning look like? We have been asking you to share some photos with us. Take a look at this gorgeous photo Cheryl Bose sent us of this lovely cornfield. And if you want to share your photo, you can take a picture and post it on Channel 3000's Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share our favorites right here on our show. A happy update about Jerry the dog. The Sauk County Humane Society says he has made a miraculous recovery. You may remember in June, we did a story about the Good Samaritan who took him to get help after being abandoned on the side of Highway 12. Now, the Humane Society says Jerry had to have all of his teeth removed, learning to eat with soft food now and no teeth. He thankfully underwent a successful jaw reconstruction surgery, and he was discharged from the UW Veterinary Care Friday, now recovering at home. Very happy update right there. Well, stick with us. News 3 Now is here all day long, and then tomorrow morning, Wisconsin has no shortage of local vineyards producing some great wines, and we sent our Susan Simon to check out Balsam Vineyard in Barneveld. We'll take you along right there. But first, running his news operation out of his parents' house. We'll introduce you to the kid reporter making headlines of his own for all the stories he's tackling. We'll be right back. Finally this morning, we end with a reporter who is not afraid to ask the tough questions and make sure every voice is heard in his hometown of Toledo, Ohio.
And did we mention he's only 11 years old? Mola Lingi reports.
This is the Eyewitness News room.
And it also, I guess, doubles as your family's dining room, too.
Yeah,
right?
but we never eat in here. That's the thing.
Toledo's Jaden Jefferson is working his own news operation.
Now, if you really want to see it up close, in the mornings it can get hectic because if I get breaking news, I try to print out that story, read over it, and then post some stuff to social media, write a web story for it. So it's a lot.
A lot for anyone, let alone a self-taught 11-year-old multimedia journalist. He writes, shoots, produces, and edits his own stories.
The city will file orders for you to make sure that your grass is cut. Yeah, it really is just me. The we part comes in with my grandma. She's the driver. Our trek to the car.
He may not have a news van or a news team, but in Jaden's case, that's what family's for. Mom Linnell and Dad James are their son's biggest fans.
We're Jaden's parents everywhere we go. I mean, I'm getting people that work all the time stopping me, saying, hey, you know, I'm like, yeah, that's our son.
When you interview presidential candidates, the chance of you being squashed by media is high.
Last month, Jaden was shoulder to shoulder with the national press. He posed the first question to and got an exclusive with presidential candidate Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Yes, what separates you from the other candidates?
You know, I can only tell you about why I'm inspired.
I still believe this to this day. If I wasn't 11, man, my camera would not be in the front. What are you doing for equal opportunities for people of color?
So that's a really good question. You know, every time I think about economic issues, I stop and say, but let's also see how it intersects with race.
The next day, he sat with another presidential candidate, Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan.
Why did you decide to join us today?
Well, I'm a politician, so I'm going to try to talk to any reporter I can find between where I'm at and where I'm going.
He's constantly consuming local and national news broadcasts and studying YouTube tutorials. Not exactly your average preteen.
Outlook just, saved my life. But
this is the stuff that really gets you excited.
Yes.
Stuff like Outlook and
Outlook
formatting.
actually excites me. Well, right now I'm just getting the camera mounted to the tripod.
This fall, Jaden will be a 6th grader.
I'm serious about what I'm asking. I'm not laughing, joking, kidding, making a joke. It's me asking a serious question and getting a serious response.
Jaden might have a question. Toledo Mayor Wade Kapsakavich has often found himself on the receiving end of Jaden's tough questions.
You know, he first started showing up at public meetings and gatherings with his camera in tow. I assumed it was some sort of a class project.
Mayor Kapsakavich says he sees the value Jaden brings to Toledo.
He makes the world a better place. I know it sounds corny, but he does in our town. And if we had more people like him, I'd go so far as to say we'd have a better quality journalism, a better understanding of facts. We might just have a better world, too.
And that is one assignment Jaden is always working.
What's the importance of journalism as you see it? Why does media have an important role in our country?
I'm going to say this really clear. It makes your life easier. And it helps you stay informed and keeps you safe. Where many come out to their local park.
Nice.
I love that. And Chris, you were showing me some old videos. You used to make
my own newscast.
Your own newscast, and you kind of look like him.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say 11-year-old me in my, just computers and cameras, and I would make a full-on newscast.
If it's possible, you were cuter than Megan. I promise the viewers.
Thanks, Keely.
So you went from making your own at home to now delivering it right here.
So we'll see where Jaden ends up in the next 13 years. But let's go ahead and give you one last look at the forecast. We'll see mostly sunny skies for most of the afternoon. We'll see a chance of rain overnight tonight and into Sunday. The middle of the week looks fantastic. Indian Beaver Dam is your pet walk for today.
Gorgeous. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you right here tomorrow.